Well, with one wide receiver retiring, the Birds used the past 2 OTA practices to find his replacement already. That's not who you would have expected. Also, A.J. Brown clearly has been working on one big improvement this offseason, and here's why Cam Jurgens is already filling the void left by Jason Kelce at center. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. With Devontae Parker's unexpected retirement just a couple of days ago, I thought the Birds were going to spend all offseason watching their young receiving core in order to find a replacement to be the wide receiver 3 or 4 in this roster. While Paris Campbell reportedly had a solid day yesterday during day 2 of OTA practices, I don't think anyone saw the Birds suddenly signing former first-round draft pick John Ross to a 1-year deal just a couple of hours ago. Remember, John Ross was originally a top 10 draft pick, the fastest wide receiver ever at the NFL Combine, and then basically a bust in the National Football League. And ever since seemingly retiring following a 3-day stint on the Chiefs practice squad, he hasn't really played on the National Football League since 2021. Ross was then kind of a surprise Eagles rookie camp invite earlier this month, and I guess he turned enough heads to get the contract offer today. Now, let's pump the brakes for like 2 seconds. Just because you sign a 1-year contract today doesn't guarantee you're actually going to be on the Eagles roster. I mean, Devontae Parker signed a 1-year contract with Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago, and he just retired, so take it with a grain of salt, but still, signing him today is somewhat of a pretty important move. I mean, clearly the Birds saw enough from Parker during just a few practices and workouts to ink him. I think it's a pretty good sign he might actually be a part of the Birds' plans going into 2024. Does that mean he's wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4 or wide receiver 5 or just a gadget speedster? I don't know, but clearly Kellen Moore and this offense want him, and I'm excited to see what they can do with the former first-round draft pick. Now, speaking of wide receivers, A.J. Brown was lost a little bit in all the excitement yesterday during the Eagles' second OTA practice, and while sure, seeing Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean in Eagles uniform definitely grabs headlines, or watching Saquon Barkley catch passes out of the backfield is big news, and maybe marveling at Jalen Hurts taking snaps under center are all worthy kind of first takeaways from yesterday's practice, only a few people on Twitter seem to notice that A.J. Brown looks a little bit quicker so far this offseason than he did last year. And if you remember last year, A.J. Brown said his goal was to increase his route running speed to over 19 miles per hour every single time. It's pretty ridiculous. And even though I don't have a radar gun to measure his actual speed here, the eye test tells me that Brown looks to be in excellent shape heading into a year where everyone expects him to lead not only the Eagles in receiving, but maybe the entire NFL. And for what it's worth, during his most recent press conference, Brown did say he has a list of little tiny critiques on his phone he's been trying to get better at, and my guess is speed during the actual running of the route is definitely been one of them.
I have this list on my phone. I got notes where I come up with things after I watch film or I think about what I need to get better at and what I want to get better at, what I want to add to my game. Now, I'm not going to discuss, but just having that mentality each and every day to get better.
Now, the absence of James Bradberry definitely grabbed major headlines yesterday, as it should, but it definitely helped gloss over the fact that recently reinstated cornerback Isaiah Rodgers was the starter opposite of Darius Slay in first-team 7-on-7s. Now, Rodgers is still somewhat of an unknown because he missed the entire 2023 season due to the whole gambling issue, but he was actually on the football field with Indy in 2022. PFF named him the most underrated player on the Colts with a grade of 82.1 and ranked him 5th in terms of coverage grade out of 106 eligible NFL cornerbacks who saw at least 250 coverage snaps. And while it is just one practice, his cornerback running mate Darius Slay seems pretty impressed with what Rodgers has already brought to the table.
It's been amazing, man. He's been a great addition. I've been seeing him making plays. I watched the film a couple of times. He's made a lot of PBUs, a lot of stuff. He's the next ones that want to race me because he think he's faster than me too, so we're going to have to make that happen. So I'm going to have to race him. But other than that, been a good addition, been great. Man, I watched his tape in Indy, and, he was making plays there, great in special teams as a returner. So he got a lot of tools, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in action and out here competing because he could do it all outside, inside, whatever he need to do. So we got a lot of guys in this secondary this year can be very versatile.
It's crazy how many good cornerbacks are currently on the Eagles roster. Like, very clearly, somebody is going to get cut who really doesn't deserve to be. Is it Eli Ricks? Is it Zach McPherson? Is it Josh Jobe? Is it all of the above? I don't know. But as of right now, with Bradberry absent, Ringo absent, and Quinyon Mitchell still getting up to speed, keep an eye on Isaiah Rodgers taking the most advantage of as many possible first-team snaps as he possibly can. Now, on the offensive and defensive line, we did get an update on the starting right guard battle with Tyler Steen not only starting at right guard yesterday, but telling reporters that he seems pretty darn eager to not only win the offensive line starting job, but he also said Cam Jurgens has really caught his attention so far this offseason as the new Jason Kelce replacement.
It's been really good. Cam does a really good job of just helping not only me, but like everybody in the room. He's really like taking a step as like a vet and being able to, and he has a lot of knowledge, really smart dude. So I think playing next to somebody like that is just going to naturally make you a smarter, better player.
Jurgens is probably filling the biggest shoes out of anyone on the team this year, and I think he's definitely more than ready, but he definitely has plenty of doubters. Just look on Twitter and search Cam Jurgens' name. Still, though, Jurgens and Steen are both in desperate need to be good this year because the rest of the offensive line and the rest of the offense in general is going to be really great. But if you have a little hole at center or a hole at right guard and teams expose you there, Philadelphia's dream run on offense could definitely be derailed. Now, speaking of the defensive line, I found it interesting that Bleacher Report is still trying to find another defensive lineman for Philadelphia to sign or trade for. Like last week, it was free agent Calais Campbell that Philadelphia should 100% go ahead and sign. Well, this week, it's a trade with the Commanders for Jonathan Allen. Now, Allen has 2 years remaining on a 4-year, $72 million contract and had 5.5 sacks on a bad Commanders defense in 2023. But just saying the Eagles should trade for Josh Allen takes away from the actual reality, which includes the Commanders loving Josh Allen on their defensive line. And Josh Allen recently saying the new direction Washington has taken this offseason has been very, very impressive with the hiring of Dan Quinn and the drafting of Jaden Daniels. I thought Jalen Carter's answer yesterday to the idea of the defensive line being really, really young was a pretty good argument against going and signing someone.
You know, a lot changes. You know, our group, I don't think there's anybody over 25 years old, so we're very young, but we still got a lot of veterans as BG, Sweat. We still got those guys to really learn from and move on with. My first year was okay. It wasn't how I wanted it to end. And a lot of stuff that I seen on film was a lot of stuff I need to fix. But, you know, it's okay. We're here now, and I'm ready to be better than last year.
Now listen, I totally understand where most Eagle fans are at on this defensive line. It's young, it's inexperienced, and last year it was really underwhelming, even when they had some former superstars that are no longer there, and both Fletcher Cox and Hassan Reddick. But I think the 2022 70-sack defensive line season really kind of ruined Eagle fans with this idea that we're going to be the best, most sacking football team in the National Football League each and every year. And while, yes, sacks are very, very important, I think developing these young players to have a solid defensive line that's good both against the pass and the run is going to be the real key for the Philadelphia Eagles in order to have them be very, very successful, especially on defense going forward. Oh, and throwing the fact that secondary is dramatically improved, especially getting CJ Gardner-Johnson back, and I think the defense overall is going to be pretty darn great. By the way, Big Play Slay seemed pretty excited yesterday about having Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back playing behind him at safety.
It's not, I ain't gonna say it's like, you know, different, but, you know, Chauncey is just Chauncey. You know, he gonna be a guy that's with full of energy. He gonna come out here and compete, play hard. You know, so, I mean, y'all know Chauncey. He gonna talk. So that's it. That's all what it is. It's always gonna be the same room. Always gonna be the same mentality because I say one thing, the Eagles do a great job of keeping the foundation here. And, you know, so like guys that's been here for so long, so the room or the team do not go that way because it's guys that been here that been solid here for years. So people already just kind of like roll into the culture, you know, and they got to buy in. So it's been great. You know, he always just, you know, Chauncey just, you know, he been here before. He'd be amazing.
Are you most concerned about the defensive line, the linebacker spot, or the secondary on this defense? Let me know down below in the comment section. I think it's the defensive line, mainly due to the age, right? Linebacker is an unknown, but I think it'll be better than it was this past season, and the secondary clearly is going to be much, much better with Gardner-Johnson coming back and the rest of the crew on the outside. But if this defensive line is going to be pretty darn good, they're going to need the young players, especially Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, to step up, and let's just hope they're ready for the task. And we have plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks, including tomorrow. I will announce the winner of the 2 tickets I'm giving away, Devontae Smith's charity softball game. If you missed how to sign up for that, watch yesterday's show or Monday's show and go ahead and get your entries in. I'm Thomas Mott on a Thursday. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.